Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, a former Baha director blasts the government over its recent announcements regarding the resort.
Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner is demanding answers on the LOI issue. That story straight ahead.
Alfred says lists those reasons why he's running for top post in the PLP. That's coming up tonight on our news.
A 27-year-old woman is charged with murder. Welcome to our news. I'm Christina McNeil. Thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight, a former Baha director has accused the government of leaving developer Sarkis Merlion on the side of the road, beaten and to die, to take up a love affair with the Chinese. This following government's latest announcement that a committee comprising of representatives from China Exim Bank and China Construction has been formed to administer claims of Bahamian Baha employees and creditors. Vonique Toot reports.
Faced with mounting criticism over its agreement with China Exim Bank to resume work on the troubled Baha project, government has announced that a newly established committee would settle claims of the resort's Bahamian employees by September 30th and administer claims of Bahamian and other creditors by the end of the year. Former Baha director Dionisio D'Aguilar says while he's happy Bahamians will finally be paid, he doubts those payouts will be as clear-cut as government is making it seem.
But I fear that these Bahamian contractors are in for a long and rocky ride. So now they make the announcement in August and they say, okay, you'll be paid by December. And I'm sure that China State Construction will say, okay, if you want to be re-engaged in this project, we'll give you 50%. And then you got to do some more work for us before we consider the rest of it. It's not going to be a clean, just knowing how they operate, it's not going to be a clear cut to you getting the money. But
D'Aguilar also questioned what it would cost Bahamians and why no one from developer Sarkis Merlion side was made a part of that committee.
While I love the fact that they're paying Bahamian workers and I love the fact that they're paying contractors, I just don't know what it cost us. Did they give them the $70 million to pay Bahamians? That don't make no sense. So what concessions did it cost us? It would have been good to have someone on the committee who was familiar with the claims. And the only person who's familiar with the claims is the construction company. But it would have been good if they had involved someone from the developer side in order to test the validity of them and to make sure the right people got the right amounts. Because I'm sure we're all thinking Bahamian creditors, but there are other creditors out there as well.
Committee members are former Minister of State for Finance James Smith, liquidation claims advisor to the government Grant Lyon, and representatives from China Exim Bank, China Construction America, and Deloitte. Government has come under heavy fire for withholding key details of its agreement and requesting that the Supreme Court seal Baha documents.
I think that they haven't struck the deal. I think it's still a work in progress. And once again, this is the Christie administration, saying that all is good and all is great. They do it on the day of a downgrade to hide the fact that this is the third downgrade since Perry Christie became Prime Minister. We had one in 2012, one in 2014, and now one in 2016.
China Exim Bank has agreed to fund all remaining construction costs to complete the project. Construction is expected to resume next month. Reporting for our news, I'm Vonique Toot.
Thanks, Vonique. Well, Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Bradley Roberts defending government's handling of the Baha matter today, asserting comments by opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis are useless. Roberts took exception to Minnis's claim that nobody trusts Prime Minister Perry Christie.
Those words is as useless as tits on a bull. Sarkis Merlion, Dionisio D'Aguilar, former Bahama board members, and Sarkis mouthpiece, and Dr. Hubert Minnis, leader of the Free National Movement, are three people who continue to disrespect Bahamians with their duplicity on Bahama, and therefore have absolutely no credibility.
By asking for those documents to be made public, the PLP chairman says members of the opposition are asking for trouble.
The court, in its wisdom, at the request of one of the attorneys, accepted and decided to keep the matter sealed until such times as whatever needs to be conducted is conducted, and the information will be available for all to see, I believe, in short order. To me, it is just a distraction. the Free National Movement was shocked beyond words that Mr. Christie was able to get all the parties concerned to reach an agreement.
In other news, Free National Movement Shadow Minister for Labor, Loretta Butler Turner, is calling the letter of intent issue increasingly suspicious following Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis's recent denials over the original LOI. But she says it's not just the Deputy Prime Minister who needs to explain himself. Our Jasmine Brown has the details in this report. Jasmine?
That's right, Christina. Butler Turner says the Deputy Prime Minister isn't the only one who has to answer questions on the matter. In fact, Butler Turner says there is a long list of people who owe Bahamians an explanation, including Wells, who was fired from his parliamentary secretary post after it was revealed he signed a $600 million LOI with Stellar Waste to Energy without authorization. Wells eventually left the PLP over the issue and joined the Free National Movement. He has since been appointed Leader of Opposition Business in the House of Assembly.
I can't question what the leader of our party has done with regards to the appointment of any member of our party. What I can question, however, is whether or not we, as members of the FNM, are fully satisfied that Mr. Wells has come to us and been very open and transparent in the role that he played while he was a member of the PLP.
The Long Island MP says Wells brought his LOI baggage to the party.
Not only are we now inheriting the baggage of these questions, we need to be able to defend Mr. Wells, and so it's important as a team member that all of us are satisfied.
Butler Turner's comments come after the Deputy Prime Minister told the Nassau Guardian that he never knew about an original LOI that had contained a line for his signature back in May 2014. However, Butler Turner says Wells and Davis aren't the only ones with questions to answer. She says much of the blame rests at the feet of Prime Minister Perry Christie, who she says grossly mismanaged the matter.
If this matter does in fact go to court, as I understand that the litigants or the defendants actually are looking to do, then certainly $600 million plus is not a small amount of money that we need answers on. So I believe that all of the persons who have had something to do with this need to be questioned. This needs to be fully aired, and the chips need to fall where they may.
Now, Butler Turner says if those answers are not revealed in court, she thinks there should be a commission of inquiry. Reporting from FNM headquarters for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Jasmine. Meanwhile, regarding the controversy surrounding attorney Alfred Sears' PLP leadership bid, Sears says naysayers are only seeking to distract and discourage him from running for the party's top post. Giorgio Sturrup reports.
Former Attorney General Alfred Sears is hitting back at those critics who have questioned his loyalty to Prime Minister Perry Christie and have called him ungrateful for challenging the leader's post even after being ratified as the party's candidate for Fort Charlotte. Sears, who appeared on our TV talk show In Focus with host Jeff Lloyd, says his leadership bid only proves his maturity as a politician.
The party affords me, as well as all of its members, the right to put forward ideas, platform, and reasons why I should be elected as a leader versus the incumbent or any other person. That is not an act of ingratitude. That is an act of maturity.
The former Minister of Education and Attorney General has announced that he intends to challenge Christie during the PLP's convention in November. Sears once again responded to senior party members who say he doesn't stand a chance.
Nobody is invincible. My candidacy is intended to give an opportunity to the Progressive Liberal Party to recast itself based on its original core values. And secondly, the path we are on is not sustainable. Our GDP, which is about $8.2 billion, our national debt, $6.8 billion, And when you add the pension liabilities of $2.5 million, you see that the debt which is owed by this country is almost equivalent to the gross domestic product.
Sayers added that there are many reasons that he wants to replace Christie. One of those reasons is that he is embarrassed about the way important cultural aspects are being handled.
I'm embarrassed as a PLP to say and to admit publicly on television that under the colonial administration, under the UBP, there was more cultural opportunities for visitors and Bahamians in this country.
That's a fact.
And cultural industries owned by Bahamians and black Bahamians.
That's a fact.
Over the hill.
To catch more of this interview, stay tuned to In Focus with Jeff Lloyd after this newscast. Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Stirrup.
Thanks, Giorgio. And if you miss In Focus tonight, you can also catch the rebroadcast on Thursday at 9 p.m. Still to come on our news, a woman faces murder charges. Why Marathon MP Jerome Fitzgerald says he does not regret sharing private emails in Parliament, and a push to remediate the New Providence landfill before Baha Mar's promised opening. That's coming up when our news returns.